Good morning. It's bright, it's sunny, and it's later than I want it to be. So it's about 10 o'clock in the morning, and for today's video, we're just going to do, or I'm going to do, my chores and various projects around the yard, and just show you, kind of give you a feel for what it is I do pretty much every single day in the garden. So let's get on with it. First, I have to water everything. It's a lot. I'll show you. Right here at the end of the table, I have a lot of free, wonderful daylilies. They were big clumps. I divided them up. I did not shoot that video. I'll probably do something in the future. I don't know if any of these will survive. I cut back some of the foliage and I cut back a little bit of the roots so they fit nicely. The roots were also a lot tangled and some were damaged, so sort of a little nursery, as it were, right back here. So they'll get some morning shade, but in the afternoon they'll get lots of sunlight. Back here clumped together, I can keep an eye on them. 3 big clumps got me approximately 20 daylilies. Bonus. Don't know what variety they are. Hopefully if they do sprout later this year, I'll be able to tell and I'll let you guys know. If you haven't subscribed, please subscribe. This way you won't miss that video. Just keep watering. And now probably the worst part of the watering, the run all the way out front to get the 1 bush, the 2 trees, and the row of boxwoods there. So let me get on with it. And with that, I'm done with the watering. And the time is 11 o'clock. So it took about an hour to water all the various plants that I had to water. Some of them I watered because they're newly planted. Others, such as the shrubs and the trees, I don't water every day, maybe every other day or every 2 days. And it's again simply because they're new and they haven't fully established. Once they're fully established, their roots will be deeper and they can find moisture deeper in the ground. But until then. Also, the vegetable garden, I'm starting to water on an almost every other day basis, and that's simply because I want all of the plants to drive their roots deeper into the raised beds to again find that moisture, so that if I do skip a day or two of watering, then they'll be fine. If I'd watered every day, a lot of the roots would stay up near the surface, and I don't necessarily want that. Again, I want those roots to go deeper and, you know, do their thing. So, on to the next project. Okay, so let's see what time it is now. I had to take care of a few household tasks and get the mail and a few other various things. It's 11:30. So, now before it gets too hot, because it is going to be like 80 today, and again with the sun it feels more like 90. See the temperature, it's 78, so it's going to be 80 almost any minute now. And like I said, it feels like it's 90, 95. So I'm going to plant out 2 shrubs, and then I think we're going to build an arbor, because I have an arbor that needs to be built. So, and I have 2 shrubs that need to be planted. Now these shrubs are going to be the Japanese sky pencils that you've seen me plant in a previous video. I'm going to be planting them out on the the front far corner of the vegetable garden and the back far corner of the vegetable garden. I was able to sink those posts yesterday, I think it was. I was able to sink those posts, so these things have been sitting in a pot for a while. I don't like shrubs sitting in a pot for extended periods of time, so I'm going to be planting them out, give them good watering, and then, like I said, we'll probably build an arbor. Why am I going to build an arbor in the sun? I'm going to go chase the shade. There's a TV show years ago called Survivor Man. Sorry for the shaky camera. And it's a gentleman called Les Stroud. I don't know if he's still on television or if he's still making episodes. He was a Canadian survival expert. And he would go out in the wilderness and set up these various scenarios. There was a plane crash, car crash, whatever, and showed just with how the minimum of supplies you could survive. He filmed the whole thing all by himself. If you saw him walking off in the distance, he was walking off in the distance. But then when he came back, hold on, I'm setting up the tripod here. There you go. But then when he came back, well, he would walk off in the distance and then have to turn around and come walking all the way back, grab his camera, walk all the way to the next location, film the next shot. So he would do all the camera angles and zooms and cuts that you would normally see in a regular produced program, but he did it all by himself. It was a lot of work. So if he walked 10 miles that day, in regards to his survival scenario, and my throat's getting dry, he actually probably walked 15 miles because, again, put down the camera, have the shot of him walking away from the... Sorry about that, battery died. So, yeah, I was prattling on about Les Stroud, moving cameras around, blah, 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 blah. So that's essentially what I do, or what I'm doing here as I try to film these YouTube videos is I will put the camera down in one location and walk all the way to one side and then go back and get the camera and then come back and put the camera in a different location and blah, 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 blah. You really don't care. You just want to be entertained and see what I build next or do next. So what we're going to do is we're going to turn around and build this arbor. Let's get to it. Well, here it is. This is the Essex Essex Arch from Gardener Supply. Let's go drop it into place perhaps and talk about what's coming up next. I'm not sure if I like it there. I'm not sure if I'll keep it there. I was thinking about having the garden gate open internally, and I don't know if that would be a problem with that there. But temporarily for now, that's where it's going to go. I'm not even sure if I'm going to stake it down because I may move it. If I keep it there, I may grow clematis over it. Or two clematis, maybe one going each direction. That'd be cool. I don't know. If you have any suggestions or comments, please leave them below. Alright, that being said, and it's now 1 o'clock, so I started that about 12:30ish, 12:15ish. I think it was about 12:30ish. I do want to do some work over in the shade garden, or the east side garden. It's just now coming into shade, and as I've stated before, it gets morning sun, but then by 1 o'clock, depending upon the time of the year, it starts going into shade and it remains in shade for the rest of the day, which is wonderful. So as it's just going into shade now, I'm actually going to take a break. I'm going to have some lunch. I'm going to maybe start editing this video and maybe do a little reading, and then come out probably about 3 o'clock and start the next bunch of projects for the day. So with that, okay, so it's now 3:30 in the afternoon. I took some time off to have some lunch. I did some video editing. Unfortunately, I didn't get to read any books, but again, video editing and lunch. So now I'm going to go over into the shade garden. I call it that because it's in shade most of the day. It does get a lot of morning sun and very early afternoons between 12 and 1. Until I have a proper shade garden that is mostly shady most of the day. This is what I have. Anyway, I am going to plant out some stuff in there because I have seedlings that need to be up-potted. So they need to go from their little seedling trays into pots of potting soil or whatever so they can grow bigger before they get planted out into the yard. And I also need the pots for stuff that's coming in. I have a large delivery that should be here any day now. Michigan bulb, any day. I'm going to do some planting out. I'll get rid of some of the stuff that's in pots that have been in pots probably a little too long that need to go into the ground, and that'll free up the pots for me to pot up the seedlings I have, and let's get to planting. Okay, it's now 4:30, so it took me roughly an hour to turn around and plant out those, I don't know how many, 9, 10 foxgloves, maybe more, and 3 dahlias, those red skin dahlias. They went into the front yard, into the front garden I should say, in front of the house, the front, you get it. 2 more things I'd like to do today before calling it quits. 1, build this raised bed from Gardener Supply. The second is to plant out pumpkin into the no-dig bed behind me. So I have 2 different varieties of pumpkin. If you haven't watched my previous videos, go back and watch my previous videos. I've talked about them before. Plant at least 2 of each. So I have 2 varieties, and I'll plant 2 of each, and then hopefully that will give me some sort of yield and or result. I don't know. Never planted pumpkin before in Mass kind of thing, or no dig bed, or even in North Carolina. So if you have any comments or suggestions, feel free to do so below. Anyways, let's get to building. Okay, there you have it. One raised bed put together. It did need screws. I was thinking about doing a loofah in here. I still think I might, because my loofah is getting a little in its pot, and I think it needs to start climbing. Well, there you go. I planted out the Howden pumpkin. The next ones I'm going to do are the Jack Be Littles. It looks like I only have really 3 good ones, so I'm going to do that at the opposite end, similar manner, cover them with a cloche. I'm not going to bore you any more than you're already bored. So I'm going to say thank you for watching. Thank you to all the new subscribers. Please subscribe if you haven't subscribed already, so you don't miss an episode and see what I'm doing here in the garden as I build out this garden here in eastern North Carolina. If you don't follow me on Instagram, give it a follow on Instagram. I post up pictures of stuff that you won't necessarily see here on YouTube. Try to keep it different. And I have merch. If you don't care, if you care, I have merch. Nice little hand logo there on t-shirt, mug. Check out the link below. Help support the channel. I think that's about it for today. I'm going to wrap this up. It's currently 5 o'clock in the evening, and I still have to go edit all this video. So I'll catch you on the next one. Bye-bye.